Charging station for electric cars. The world news. Transliteration in Kazakh. Domestic household system. Tech control. Anti-theft service for bicycles. The Kazakhstan news. On September 2nd, 2016, a zero duty on the import of cars equipped with an electric motor was introduced on the territory of the Eurasian Economic Union. In addition, electric vehicles were exempted from paying a transportation tax in Kazakhstan. However, even such benefits do not serve as an incentive sufficient for a noticeable growth in demand for green transport. And for that, there are several reasons, including the lack of necessary infrastructure for servicing electric cars. The solution of this problem was found at the Kanish Satpayev Kazakh National Research Technical University. Here we developed the first domestic charging station for electric vehicles. KazNTU assisted the company Polytech Electronics in obtaining an innovative grant and complete support for the project of a charging power plant for electric vehicles. The project was developed by our scientists, and there is an innovative patent. The project is aimed at the creation of electrical equipment for charging electric vehicles. Today, this project received the necessary safety certificate, passed industrial tests, and is ready for serial production. Our charging station is a metal case made of stainless steel, inside which are installed power modules and a controller that controls the charging process. Our charging station is a device that provides safe charging of an electric vehicle of all world manufacturers. The heart of the station consists of three elements. Power modules protect the system from short circuits. The controller helps to safely operate the charging mechanism, and the LED indicators indicate the mode of operation. For example, green indicates readiness for operation, blue lights up during refueling, and red signals some malfunctions. Outside, the station is equipped with a display and an RFID reader. It is necessary to register an RFID card on the server of the station and bring it to the reader. After successful authentication, you can take the connector and connect it to an electric car and start charging. At the end of charging, the amount of power that the electric car uses during charging will be displayed. The time for refueling an electric vehicle takes from 4 to 14 hours, depending on the capacity of the power unit. For example, if an electric car is equipped with a 3 kilowatt, the green transport will be charged for 4 hours. The cost of one full charge is on average 200 tenge. We want to engage in the production and development of our powerful charging stations, the so-called fast charge, which operates on the CHAdeMO and CC's protocol, in other words, European standards and Japanese standards. Heavy-duty charging stations will allow charging electric vehicles as quickly as pouring diesel fuel into the tank. Only in this case, green transport can make real competition to traditional cars.
So the winner of this US competition is Lilium Jet.
The German startup for the development of electric flying taxis with vertical takeoff, Lilium, attracted $90 million from the Chinese holding, Tencent, and other investors. The money will go to develop a 5-seat commercial version of an aero car on jet engines, as well as increase the company's staff. It is assumed that the Lilium jet on full charge can be in the air for about an hour and fly at a speed of 300 kilometers per hour. The company plans to use transport as an air taxi, which can be called through the application. The startup plans to hold the first flight in 2019 and launch the order function through the application in 2025. During the last round of financing, the corporate chat system Slack was estimated at $5.1 billion. According to Executive Director Stuart Butterfield, the service is growing every year by 100%. So, last week the company reported an annual profit of $200 million. Most of the investment in the last round came from the vision fund of the Japanese group SoftBank. For all the time, Slack has attracted $841 million, which makes it one of the most expensive software startups in the world. Recently, during the parliamentary hearings in the Majlis, a version of the new Kazakh alphabet was presented. We can note two of its features. The alphabet contains 25 letters, and the specific sounds of the Kazakh language will be denoted by digraphs. That is, when two characters transmit one sound. And while Kazakhstanis are discussing the advantages and disadvantages of the Kazakh Latin, the specialists of Attila Group have developed a site for automatic conversion of text from Cyrillic to Latin. The resource is called quazlatin.kz. Here, any Kazakhstani can convert a 1,600-page novel, The Way of a Bai, in just a few seconds.
Негізі бұл кейбір адамдар ойлап қалуы мүмкін. Осы жақын арада ғана ойды құрастырды, жақын арада.
The idea of such a site came to us a long time ago, about 10 years ago. However, we started the full implementation of the project recently. We conceived it in order to unite the Kazakhs living abroad, in Europe, in China, and in other Asian countries.
Бұның мақсатында жаңағы Европадағы қазақтарымыз бар, Қытайдағы қазақтарымыз бар, соларға ыңғайластыру ретінде ойластырылып жүрген жоба болады.
Functional Portal allows you to work with 3 graphic systems with Cyrillic, Arabic script, and Latin, and you can convert the text to both Latin alphabet and vice versa.
Сол жобамен осы төте жазу, кіріл жазу арасында жұмыс істеген болатын.
We've already used the old Latin alphabet in this project, but as soon as people started to talk about the Latin alphabet more and more often, a new version and grammar appeared. In a short time, we made a new resource, not forgetting about the Cyrillic alphabet and the Arabic alphabet.
Толық грамматикасын, жазылу ережесін берген жоқ, сондықтан кейбір емелер қателіктер болады, кейбір сәйкеспеушіліктер болады.
According to the founders of the site, the text volume of less than 5,000 characters will be converted instantly. In this case, there is no need to copy words and insert them into the working field. The program provides the ability to download documents in the doc format.
Әріптер жағынан көбінесе сұраныс түсті, әріптер жағынан сұрақтар көп түсті.
Basically, questions arose about the alphabet itself. For example, the connection of the letters A and E will be read as E. The new alphabet was developed by scientists and philologists, and the goal of the company is to adapt it to the people's convenience.
Билерге байланысты сәйкестендіріп конвертер жасау біздің компанияның мақсаты.
By the way, the site can be recorded under any variant of the Kazakh alphabet in Latin. The main thing is not the graphics, but an opportunity to save and present it to the whole world Kazakh literature in Latin.
Бұл сайтта компьютерда болсын, ұялы телефондарда бәрінде.
This site can be used either through a computer or via a smartphone, but now we're working on making it available without connecting to the network.
Ұялы телефонда да торапсыз жағдайда пайдалануға болады етіп жасаймыз.
In the future, the program will allow you to convert the text not only between the Cyrillic and Latin alphabets, but also many other written languages of the world. In addition, the site will add the function of voice input, which will allow to translate speech into text while preserving the features of the phonetic system of the Kazakh language. Such analog intercoms can be seen almost next to every Kazakhstani entrance. They're considered obsolete, so they're replaced by new intercom systems, digital. This is a cooperative media station with enhanced functionality. Kazakhstan analog of such station was developed by the capital start-uppers from the company Tutelar Plus. This is the intercom system of a professional level, which we want to build into the ecosystems of our neighborhoods. We remove anonymity. This is the first stage when every movement, every door opening or call are recorded, saved, and it will be not possible to call and simply ask, "I'm a neighbor, please open the door." The electronic complex consists of 3 parts. The first is the calling panel. It has a built-in IP camera, microphones, speaker, call buttons, keyboard, RFID card reader. The calling panel is connected to a local network with an internet connection with a standard cable. As a client, you can use a smartphone to which you want to install a mobile application, and this is the second part of the domestic intercom system. The client approaches the door, presses the apartment he chooses, so the phone rings. Here I receive the call. I accept the call. There is video communication with the intercom. If I turn, then the image from the door phone will appear in the application. To see the guest in real time, you can be anywhere in the world. All this became possible thanks to the use of digital communication channels and standard network data transfer protocols, namely the SIP protocol, which has long been used in IP video and audio telephony.
данном приложении есть такие функции, как отключение.
In this application, there are such functions as mute the microphone, video call, and screenshot, the image, also the acceptance and rejection of the call.
Также принятие и отклонение звонка.
The price of an IP door phone is several times more expensive than an analog one. But if you take into account the fact that it does not require special client terminals and does not need to put kilometers of cables into each apartment, in practice it turns out either the same price or much lower. For example, the maintenance of the Kazakh system will cost the subscriber 350 tenge a month. In the future, we plan to make the panel a solid centimeter thick. It is very durable and easy to install. In addition, a client personal account will be developed that will allow to create video archives, view them, program the dialing order, add and delete keys. With such expanded functionality, businessmen plan to enter the regions of Kazakhstan and then to the Russian market with 10 times more of potential customers. Startup Dictionary. Bootstrapping, literally translated from English as pulling on the straps of shoes. In the language of the startuppers, this means trying to develop a project without the money of investors, on their own. Example use, bootstrap the startup, waiting for profits. Tair Balbayev, General Director of an innovative company. Work experience in the sphere of internet commerce and distribution of food. Specialization, radio electronics. Review for the startup. Veloprotection.kz is anti-theft service for bicycles.
Достаточно интересный проект, достаточно типовой, но интересный.
Quite an interesting project, typical but unusual in the scale of Kazakhstan because such a service does not exist yet. But as they say, the devil is in the details, namely how the lock will be arranged, what alarm systems will be installed specifically, how the notification will happen, whether this alert will be permanent or will only be for an alarm or as a notification. And it turns out the signal is already after the fact when the lock is opened and the owner of the vehicle has just one option, to track his bike on GPS signals. There are certain disadvantages. We need to understand that GPS does not always work in the premises. If the bike is going under the roof, the signal is already lost. It should also be understood that it can be isolated by wrapping with foil or other materials.
Определенные минусы — это надо понимать, что GPS не всегда, работает.
I think that it is really possible to develop a device that will prevent theft. You need to identify alloys, metals, identify the supplier, determine the electronics, and make an offer. I think that this will cost at least 10 to 15 million minimum. It will take 10 to 15 million tenge to develop this application and to get a high-quality industrial serial product.
Надо понять сплавы металла, определить поставщика.
The mobile application should be an integral part of the project because the lock itself does not stand out in the competitive market. The market is very competitive, and of course, one needs to understand that it is very important that we need devices or apps that will help bicycle owners prevent theft or find their bicycles. Accordingly, you need to understand that there must be a budget that will be allocated for marketing. The budget, which is determined at 3 million tenge, is of course small, but it's a common mistake for startups to underestimate budgets when entering the project. This requires such specialists like an industrial designer, a technologist, and a material expert. Then you need to understand how this will be done and where. The definition of all aspects of the project is a rather complicated process. My advice to the developers in this case, you need to decide on the design of the lock itself to understand the principal diagram of the device itself, which will give signals. It will be necessary to understand and evaluate the moments when this device was in working order. We all know that GPS devices with a GSM transmission channel are quite energy intensive, a maximum of about 48 hours. It will be necessary to assess all the needs, opportunities, shortcomings, and with this already begin to design the final device.
И уже вместе с этим уже, приступать к конструированию конечного устройства.
Cheap cellular communication and mobile internet are the two main problems of all tourists. The Kazakhstani company Power Wi-Fi has found a simple solution to these problems. The startup offers travelers to rent a 4G router. Using this service, foreign tourists receive cheap and high-quality internet, as well as a free charger. In Almaty, the innovative and creative space of the Smart Point was opened. Here, every startup will find a complete gentleman's set, convenient and technologically advanced offices, rally room, co-working space, and a fitness center. To learn more about Smart Point and the Power Wi-Fi, tune in to our next program on Kazakh TV.